too. So this will be a very interesting one. We're starting off now. So G2, what have they got in store for us here?
All right, so pistols can always be a little bit weird on cash. And it seems that NiP are going for the standard retake situation on A, but they've got people close, just not deep into the site itself. So it seems G2 looking to start things off with a mid-take. Safety in numbers, going to be the order of the day here. Pick just keeping an eye on what's going on. Exist coming in to get the second frag there. Get right as well. So far, so good here for NiP. 2 versus 2 very quickly now. Bomb heading over towards the A site. So we should see a plant at the very least. Body trying to stop the flank from coming in. We've got 2 people to engage with. Forest with the long-range headshot there. 1 versus 2 now for Shox.
Yeah, the 1 versus 2 with that bomb taking away. They don't know exactly where Shox is, but they have a very good idea, I think. They didn't see him cross away from the site. So let's see if Shox can get these instant headshots. That's what he needs to be able to do here to actually survive this situation. Here's the first challenge. There it is. 1 frag on the Forest. Just 1 more. Freiburg there. Oh, the jump comes and he gets the dink as well. This is very bad. And Freiburg's going to go down. Great stuff there from Shox. Able to clutch the 1 versus 2 straight away. And that is a good way to set the pace there for G2.
It's a very important pistol round. You can always rely on Shox. So nice stuff to start with. Let's see what NiP's response is going to be. Interesting. So we have 3 HEs coming out for the NiP side. Is it a full buy from them? Let's have a look. Nope, they've left themselves about $1,000 in the bank. They've got some dangerous pistols, some 5.7s, some CZs. So G2 will have to have a good anti-eco ready for them. And indeed those nades are going to go flying into mid. Shock's going to take a lot of damage and have to back off. He's going to collect the bomb while his team posture towards A.
So here it is, just setting up that anti-eco, and NiP not investing much as mentioned, so they won't be too sad if they get completely wiped out here, but they have a really good position. And G2, they're not really playing the information game at the moment. They just want to run that set piece straight into the bomb site, and that can be very strong if you do it well, but if it goes a little bit awry, then there could be issues here, because there's 4 guys there on the site ready and waiting here for NiP. G2 biding their time, but it's now time to get in there. Here they go, Molotovs in. Grenades, flashbangs, first opening kills, but NiP getting a frag straight back here, so this is just getting a bit messy right now here for G2, but just 1 left in Freiburg, so all is well for G2. The bomb will go down.
Freiburg trying to come in and do what he can. Shox is still looking for the flank, but he won't be needed. RPK finishing off the job there. Very nice play. Shox was just holding passive towards the entrance of A main that entire time, just to make sure nobody's going towards Squeaky or mains. The rest of his team can concentrate on the site itself. So far, so good for G2. Going to continue with the SMGs in this round. There are a few players who need to rebuy at the moment. Body and Smiths haven't picked up any weapons just yet. Smiths looks like he's going to be rolling with P250, so he's probably wanting to get a better gun straight off the bat, maybe an AWP, maybe an AK. We'll have to wait and see for the time being. They've got 1 more test to come. This is a Luminosity-esque boost coming in from the CTs there to avoid getting sprayed down through the middle area. So far, so good. 1 for 1. The CTs will be happy with that, bearing in mind their investment. That's a timely nade here for Exist. 22 HP left, so that is a very secure B bomb site at the moment. Scream holding down the back. We have a 2-man approach from different areas. Is this going all the way through A main, which is kind of interesting. I think this exists. Yeah, it is. So we'll see. Aha, so the Swedes opting to play for exits, try and steal some weapons, get these P250s to pay for themselves, as opposed to pushing the site. Always better in a situation. It would be kind of people running out a Gatling gun if they tried to retake the site and force the issue. And we can see G2 have taken the right decision going over towards CT spawn.
Yeah, NiP are really trying to play the edges here. I mean, they've stolen away that UMP and HE grenade. They're going to hold on to it, play really, really strong exit game. And not only that, the interesting thing is that NiP, unlike a lot of teams, they've invested very, very little in these last 2 rounds. Very little. I mean, they spent almost no money at all. And that's something that NiP, you know, when they went under the threat system initially, that's what they were known for, and it's going to give them like really, really strong buys. And Forrest is even going to continue with the UMP that he picked up in the previous round, so he's going to have even extra money there to help him in the future rounds. But they're not going to have a great buy going into this one. I mean, they're going to be up against an AWP on screen, lots of AKs, UMP on Forrest, just rifles there, not even full grenades, so still tough for NiP.
Yeah, Scream's AWPing right now because he's playing the spawn timing to go over towards B, try and get an early pick, but he's not going to be able to do it, so I'm sure that'll go straight back to Smiths. Indeed it will. Scream coming for the edge shots now. So B smoked off early. G2 will have to make their way elsewhere. Shox has gone quickly over towards Squeaky to make sure there's no early push coming in for the CTs, although it is somewhat unlikely based on the fragile CT economy at the moment, but you always have to make sure, you never know. Not many grenades here for NiP at the moment. They've got their initial map control with the smokes, but now it's a question of holding. A minute 10 on the clock here. You might see G2 go for a boost. Often you'll see Scream going for the boost. He'll try to play in the corner of the roof to the right. Although he's looking to be a little bit more aggressive today.
Yeah, so we start to have that mid-take towards the 1 minute mark. Starting to get some control of the map, get some pressure onto NiP. They've more or less given up having any presence there in middle themselves, so they don't have much in the way of information. So one would expect NiP to start thinking, all right, we need to respond here, we need a reaction here, we've got to find out what's going to happen before it happens. And so far, I mean, they're playing it very, very passive, just waiting for G2, and Garrett's going to spot Smith. The one-on-one ensues, and Get Right will definitely come off the worst there, gets sent into an early grave, and now Exist under a lot of pressure. He's got to defend by himself against 5 players. The split comes in onto the A site. Exist only gets a single kill. Pick comes in, but he's dropped straight away as well. Not going so well here, but a 2 versus 3 for NiP, certainly doable, and they're keeping the pace high. Forest will charge through the forklift to try to get more frags done here, but the G2 players get some good post-plant positions.
Crossfire on the site now. Shox can peek second as his teammates have his back. 2 in the main area, but the flash is coming in as well. Shox is going to show his face and take down for us. Even Freiberg alone versus 3, and he won't be able to do it. One very important thing about the post-plant situation there, something we've seen TSM do recently on Catch as well, is putting that smoke down between car and the site next to the red box. It makes it so hard for the CTs to come in for the retake, because you have to take a gamble. If you push that smoke, you can try and put flashes into the smoke and push it, which I think we'll probably see come into the meta at some point, but it makes it very difficult at the moment for the CTs to push.
Yeah, now you can see NiP just again going for a save round, but 4 Deagles and a smoke grenade, so it's going to be a fun one. Hopefully, at least for us. Let's see if they can get anything done. Well, so far it's going to be Body opening up the map as the Deagles rattle off all across the middle area. Get Right trying to get something done there, but he's not going to be so fortunate right yet. All right, we've got Freiberg in a good position as well towards B storage, but G2 doing the smart thing, just holding a little bit. They've got time to use, and they will use it to try to make sure NiP cannot catch them off guard. So it's very interesting to note how passively the opening from NiP against G2 has been so far, but G2, they're getting some momentum here, and player by player, they are cleaning up this eco.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff here for G2. Nobody lost just yet. Shox and Body tagged, but against only Get Right now versus 5. There's not much we can expect out of the Swedish player now. NiP approaching max loss bonus, so we should see stronger buyers coming in and more grenades. They are very adept at using those grenades. We'll see if they can have better and longer hold of the common areas like mid, etc. in the coming rounds. Have a look and see what the buy is here for the side. So we've got 4 M4 so far, full grenades for NiP now. They can use those grenades to try and get aggressive. You saw Get Right was peeking A main in a previous round, but he got picked by Smith with the AWP. But with more utility, maybe they can have a better hold. Pitts picked up the AWP as well. He's in the mid area for the time being, as initial map control is taken by both sides.
And I think with the the kind of style that NiP want to play against G2, so far it's been passive. This AWP for Pitt is going to be very important, and he's got a good position as well to kind of rotate towards that A-bomb side as well, which is where the main pressure is from the French side at the moment. G2 looking like they more or less simply just want to get in that A-bomb site. Pitt's actually going close here. He's found his way to forklift, and he finds a player. Scream goes down, and another one as well. Shox is sent packing, and all of a sudden NiP have taken down 3 players for the cost of 1. That is a good trade, and it is plan B quite literally here for RPK and Body of G2 as they move their way in towards B storage and see what they can get done.
Yeah, and you can see main gets smoked off again, so NiP with more utility, holding on to map control better, and you can see Get Right is taking yet more control here, so time is running out for G2 unbeknownst to them. They are losing map control by the second, and they're in a mid area, so they're going to be very, very exposed here. And once Get Right sees that nobody is in mid. If he can get there in time, then maybe NiP have a bit of warning coming in towards the B bomb site. They do have a crossfire here as well, so Forrest can peek out second once the cross comes past CT. That smoke may force his hand now. Going to go for the peek. RPK gets taken down, so it's body remaining versus 4. He can't do any more damage. NiP make their way onto the scoreboard.
And how long will it continue though? Because there's a decent amount of cash in the bank there for G2. They've done well to build some money here, and you know, by and large that's because of NiP's choice to play so economically that they gave up the ability to really challenge G2's economy in those rounds when they were saving. And when they had those deagles, which is pretty much the best save round or investment they had on a save round, they didn't really get any damage in. So G2 have a strong buy back in this one. NiP really need a clean round here to get their economy going. And we'll see Freiburg going close in middle early on in the round. Straight into those vents. Great position. A lot of information can support both middle and and B. And we'll have G2 just playing it passively, playing that default to open things up, to just get the feelers out there on the map, see exactly what NiP are up to, if they're up to any aggression. Obviously the case is currently that they are not. And now, once some time has gone, they are starting to wonder, all right, we need to start thinking about some map control, and they start to converge a little bit towards middle. We might see a bit of a delayed mid take, which could be quite strong considering NiP have actually fallen back quite far at the moment. So you can see waiting so long, it's going to actually help G2's mid take massively.
Yeah, Scream always the man on the boost position. See the Molotovs coming in as well. He is just waiting to force any players from their potential positions. You have the Molly going for sandbags as well, and indeed the mid take has come in. This makes a B split really, really strong because it makes it really easy to take the vents. We can see Freiburg might be in a bit of trouble here. He's got a teammate in for support. Those counter flashes will be very important. Those Molotovs trying to force the CTs from their position, but Freiburg's found a spot here. Forrest is there to help as well. We have more Molotovs flying in, more nades coming in from both sides. Freiburg able to hold though. How many can he get? Just the one. And the bomb site has been taken. Down goes Forrest and Freiburg. 3 versus 3 retake coming in. And there's only a flash onto G2 at the moment. Actually, one flash onto both sides, so not much in the name of utility here. Shox on the site, and we have G2 in position for a crossfire, so NiP will have difficulty retaking the sites.
And Shox has been in this spot many times before. When will the coordinated push come in? There it is. Kero's going to try to challenge Shox straight away. Very nicely done. Finds the headshot. And another one. LPK finishes off the last. And that's an easy hold in the end there for G2. 6-1 they break NiP after only a single round won. That is very, very painful. They do have a situation where they only need to save one round because they were so economic previously, but this is all the momentum's with G2 at the moment. They're doing a fantastic job, and you know, once again their economy is going to get reinforced by all of this. So yeah, I mean, we're already seeing that performance that we need to see from them. Scream and Shox hitting their shots, and just a few PT50s here in a fast round over the top in middle to meet the CTs of NiP. So far so good.
Scream and the headshots, leaving Get Right alone. Body got his spell wrong, he needs to stay away. Some damage done, but no frags there for NiP whatsoever, so those PT50s won't pay for themselves. Again, this is a really bad situation for NiP, having lost one round and then being reset. 7-1 here, so it seems that maybe NiP are on the course for an upset on Cash, but again, your run only runs until it ends. Maybe this is the end that leads for their record on Cash. We'll see how it goes. There's still lots of room for recovery here. But again, you can see the financial difficulty. They don't have the utility that they can use so well. So after initial map control with these flashes, Molotovs and smokes, they're going to have a hard time holding things. And you have to wonder if that means there's going to be some aggression somewhere. You often see that lack of utility to try and get aggressive, take some traditional map control away from the Ts. Maybe smelling the weakness in utility here. We have 2 players over towards B for G2 rather than RPK, who normally lurks there on his own. And with the angle Smith is holding, it seems they're expecting some aggression to try to kind of make up for that lack of utility here. But NiP are opting for the passive approach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really cool little move there. Just that really horrible off angle, to be honest, here in the B storage area in the sunroom. But as you mentioned, not going to happen this time around. At least it doesn't appear that's going to be the case. Generally speaking, NiP have played really passively across the board against G2. It feels as though they are kind of waiting for G2 to kind of make a mistake. But the G2 engine is really going very, very well at the moment. So Seems like those mistakes just aren't there, and G2 are getting so much space. NiP are allowing them to do so much. Like, we should expect a change of approach from NiP at some point, but right now they have no grenades. They've got they just got to react here, and 5 v 3 the first frag. Only one though, great damage there, but it's down to Forest. Forest has to hold, and he can't get a single frag there. Scream is going to eliminate him straight away, and now that's a 3 v 4 retake. Not a great situation for the Swedes.
Indeed, they've got absolutely no nades to work with. That smoke's only just gone down in the upper area and just gone down into the vents as well. So there's nothing that NiP can really do in this situation. They're kind of forced to go for a save here. And they're slowly realizing that and starting to back away. Just the timing on those smokes just says, like, it's such a risk to try and push through them. It's pretty much a suicide mission there, so they're going to try and hold on to what they can. Perhaps they can get some drops in for the other 2 players and mount defense in the next round if they can hold on to these 3 weapons. But even if they can, they're going to be limited on money again. They're going to be limited on smokes, etc. So they're going to have a hard time holding the map. So lots of advantages coming up for G2 in the following rounds. They move to 8-1.
Yes, another save round for NiP, and they right now in the bank they've got around $2,500 average on every player. So that's a really awful situation to be in. I mean, if they lose this round, which is quite likely, obviously if they've got the guns that they've saved, then they're going to get a decent amount of cash they'll be able to buy in the next round. So, you know, saving 3 weapons was the smart play for sure there. And the thing is that G2, again, they are being allowed to do so much. And we've got a pause coming in. I can only assume that it's a tactical pause at this point here for NiP, because they need to figure out well, they're not doing anything, it seems like. They're not really asserting control across the map. They're just letting G2 take what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I mean, G2 have a good read on the situation. Obviously, they're winning all the rounds and so on, but they have a good read on the NiP economy. You see the adjustments they make over towards B because they're expecting the aggression, the stuff that makes sense. You know, when you're short on utility, etc. You'll often see teams trying to take control of A main and get that smoke into the entrance of it on the T side, or go for the B push. We've seen recently, actually, in the development of Cash, smokes very deep in the area past Sunroom, so the T's just have no control whatsoever. But we're not really seeing any such aggression from NiP, despite the shortcomings in their utility and so on. It's interesting, actually. I think one of those news sites asked a few people what changes they'd like to see to Cash, but it's still a map that's developing in meta constantly. So personally, I wouldn't like to see any changes to it because I think it's great as it is.
Yeah, so overall, just a very good map. You get pretty much everything. You get slow games, fast games. I mean, it offers all kinds when it comes to strategy and tactics. It's one of the most diverse maps, to be honest, in the ways that you can play it. Either way, we'll get a buy coming in from NiP. Of course, they had $2,400 from the loss bonus. They spent everything the previous round, but they did save 3 weapons, so that allows NiP to drop a couple of FAMASs and so on, or UMPs, whatever it might be, and they can have a decent go of it in this round. The thing is, though, the main thing that we're going to be looking for now is that they have to be a little bit aggressive somewhere. They've got to take it. They've got to take a bit of a risk. They can't just wait passively. And generally speaking, against a team like G2, I think that's usually going to be the worst thing you can do, because G2 is going to be very, very strong if you allow them to just run their coordination, but they're not going to have as great on-the-fly coordination as some other teams. So if you disrupt them, it's going to be pretty effective, or it should be in theory. And we're going to have a quick round coming in here from G2, straight over the top in middle. Very, very fast mid control, and there it is. The first taps coming in from Scream, taking down Exist. Pit gets one back there, but it's still... Well, it's a slugfest here. I like this from NiP. They want to actually contest middle, and it's gone very well for them. 3 versus 2, and the effort's coming back into B here for G2.
Yeah, G2 now only with Shocks versus 3. It's a question of damage, but you never know with Shocks. He's always capable of clutching any situation, especially on this map. We've seen it before. Are we going to see it again? He's got himself 1 versus 1. He needs to move quickly, and he realizes that. You see the Molotov coming in from Forest to try and slow him down, allow his teammate to rotate here. And now Shocks will have to wonder where the second player is. That vent is exposed. Don't have any warning if somebody comes in from there, and indeed, Get Right emerges from the back and takes him down. 2 players surviving for NiP, not ideal by any means. And the G2 side will have no issue in coming in for a rebuy here.
Yeah, not just a rebuy, but a rebuy with 2 orbs. That's an interesting choice on the T side, and I really do wonder how that's actually going to pan out, because there's lots of ways for them to play 2 orbs. I mean, Smith can be pretty good as an aggressive AWPer, and Shocks, of course, he's just good at everything, James. He's the perfect human being.
He is.
So we'll have to see how that actually works. But right now, it looks like we'll just have defensive opening from G2. And NiP as well, they're going with their usual defensive stuff. Previous round we saw 3 players fast in middle, and this is going to be somewhat of a similar round for NiP. Getting Freiburg in the vents once again. And Shox is holding that off angle we saw Smith's holding before in the sunroom.
It seems that G2 have decided to completely change this pace. I mean, that's always going to be indicated by having 2 orbs on the map. And again, they have a really good read as to what NiP are trying to do, especially after that break. G2 went for a much faster take of the mid area, again expecting some aggression. Didn't work out for them on this occasion, but 8-2, they won't be complaining at all. Shox spotting a player there. I don't know if Freiburg realizes that he's been seen, although he knows the angles to hold and not to hold as well. That's a bit of a basic flashbang coming in. If you're playing the headshot position, you can get a very nice pop flash to allow Freiburg to peek actually, but that's not going to happen. He's going to move away just in time. And Checkers has been taken now by G2, and that's going to cause massive problems here for NiP.
Yeah, Forrest is in a really nice position behind the smoke, though. Oh dear, Freiburg's going to go down, but Forrest is in place. Takes the first shot. Can he get to safety? No! Shox is straight in there, takes Forrest down, and will create a clear path there for G2 to get onto that bomb site, but they don't have the bomb. That is a problem. Shox is going to have to go collect that, but the key information here is that the CTs seemingly don't know about this. So Shox is going to be able to pick that one up, and right now, Pit's in Ben. He's wondering what's happened, but it doesn't matter. He hits the shot, and now Shox is in a very weird position because he's going to get back into the bomb site. Pit's on the angle, he spots him. Now Shox, very close there, had the Glock out. Very nicely done there from Pit. Gets the 2 critical frags at the end to close the round. 3-8 in NiP, starting to salvage something that's workable.
Yeah, they should have heard Shox jumping around on his way to the bomb. G2 still have loads of money in the bag, so the pressure will continue here for NiP, but they've survived 1 test there. It was really interesting. Funnily enough, RPK seems to be the lurker towards B here for G2, but when he needs to play with Existence on the CT side, you'd see RPK in the Checkers area, and sometimes his Existence would be in headshot, and he'd throw the pop flash for RPK to peek with, so they'll be very used to those tactics coming in from NiP, but indeed that was a very basic flashbang, and if it was thrown properly, then Freiburg could take some aggression there and not be flashed himself. So, Scream in his usual position on the boost spot. Again, we have G2 going back to their normal default setup, it seems. So they'll wait for the initial grenade to disappear. There is still a smoke into the T entrance to mid and over towards B. And indeed, RPK is lurking over towards B alone. So all things back to normal here for G2. Going to see if the old faithful will work out for them.
Yeah, but NiP falling into a bit of a groove now, which is good for them. Although there's not really been a super clean round for them. It's always been a bit of a struggle. Let's see if they can change that in this situation. We've got G2 starting to finally make a bit of a move. Quite a lot of pressure here towards B, so they're going to try to make it look like B, whereas the bomb is actually going towards Squeaky at the moment. So a bit of a fake action coming in here to try to get a rotation going to isolate the player on the A bomb site for a 2 versus 1. But NiP, they're not buying it just yet. They're holding their positions, although now they're starting to move a little bit. But because Freiburg's pushing, he's found the information, the key information. Freiburg's getting the play in here. That really makes the difference for NiP. They know what's going on right now. They're 1 step ahead, but they have to connect the bullets. And it's going to be RPK doing that, taking down Get Right. But there's still 2 more players here from the Swedish side. As ECS tries to lay into them, but only gets a single frag. It's down to Freiburg here on the flank. Able to get a couple there back in return. But Forrest gets wiped out on the rotation, and that's going to be another round for G2. 9-3, and they break NiP's small momentum there.
Just too many headshots coming out for G2 with those AKs. That's the problem. Even if you get aggressive against G2, they have pretty sick aimers. Let's not forget RPK. He is a headshot machine as well. And again, we have financial difficulty coming out for NiP. You can see their money, for the most part, is around $2,000, so they're going to have to eco again, which means G2 have a great opportunity to make it to double figures. And this is a monstrous T-side so far from G2, and it looks set to continue. We've got 3 people over towards the B bomb side. We've got NiP at the moment. You have to wonder if they're going to choose to push or if they're going to try and play for Bedlam. But we've seen that G2 have been really good with the Molotovs over towards B specifically. So NiP can't really afford to play on the site itself because they will be forced to expose themselves in a bad situation.
Yeah, and so far it's actually quite nice also to see that we have a bit more structure, developing on G2. They're a team that's improving all the time, and if they're able to get consistently more and more structure, they're going to be more consistent. They don't have to rely as much on crazy individual performances, and that's very important for a team like them for the success. And well, it looks like NiP is starting to figure out that G2 are moving towards that A site, but what do they have to fight? Well, sticks and stones against guns against AWPs, against the AK-47s, and that's not a good matchup. G2 able to easily barrel into the bomb site. Although that said, Freiburg with the P250 able to get a couple kills there. It's a little bit shocking for G2, but with the money as it is, I don't think G2 give a damn.
Yep, they are still headed in the right direction. 10-3 now, and there's only 2 rounds left in this half, so all good in the hood here for G2. NiP coming back out for the buy, but it's going to be limited again. Get Right's going to be rocking the UMP on this occasion, and the grenades are very limited. I think the grenade situation actually might be the worst they've had on a buy round, which surely means we're going to see some aggression, some pushes somewhere from NiP. We haven't seen them go for any boosts yet, or any B pushes, say for that one from Freiburg later on, but they don't have the utility to hold G2 for long enough of a time.
You can see Shock's definitely expecting something to be happening towards the door area, and this boost is going to be very important for Get Right. Of course, one of the weaknesses is if the T's push short, but there's lots of presence in middle there for NiP to prevent that. It also means that they can leave Get Right there as long as they hold on to middle. And he can deal with anything coming into the bomb side pretty much by himself. So we'll see, you know, with this current setup of G2, if they can figure out how to open up the map so far. And Forrest, quick peek there, and he is alone basically here. Of course, he does have a teammate in the vents to quickly support if needed. But he does have to be careful. You don't want to give the first frag as the CT side. Now, again, sending Scream over the top there in the boost position. He's notoriously good at that, as we've already seen in this match.
The molly. Oh, Freiburg going to take damage, guaranteed. RPK looking to finish him off. Tries to go for the duel, but again, the headshots with the AK is just too much. There was I think there was a flash onto Freiburg as well, and that's the B bomb site lost, and G2 will quickly stream into the site. And again, I was going to say, if G2 going for an execute, NiP only had 3 flashbangs to try and slow them down, and the counter flashes can be so crucial there, but they opt for the duels versus AKs. Not going to work out with headshot machines like RPK coming in. 2 plays left here for NiP, and I think 12-3 might be on the cards here, Dan.
Yeah, I love that setup there from G2. It's so smart. They waited very far into the round. They know that the economy is a little bit poor for NiP, just as you mentioned. NiP didn't have very many grenades, so around 45 seconds, they play that double Molotov play. RPK's in position on B storage. He gets the kill he's supposed to get. Of course, there's no smoke there because it's so late in the round. NiP don't have any smokes to drop there, so Freiburg can't escape without showing himself to RPK. RPK gets the kill, they take the bomb site. Super simple stuff, but it's the simple stuff executed well that is going to give you the edges in a game like this. And they're getting closer and closer to that 12-3 indeed, as you mentioned. So NiP surely will be sweating a little bit. I mean, their T side is what's supposed to be, you know, their strongest side as well, but the 12-3, that's going to be hard to answer for.
Yeah, but the road to recovery will be difficult, but not impossible, never impossible. NiP will be good with the executes as well. A few more grenades, but a few less rifles here for the NiP side. Got 3 people moving in mid at the beginning. Let's see what kind of approach G2 will have. So, we're going to see some aggression, Dan, but only in the last rounds of the half. So maybe too little too late. And Scream's looking for it as well. Seems to have a good read on the situation. G2 have been prepared at all the right times for aggression to come out from NiP. And this is the first time I've noted Scream in that particular position. Maybe having a good read on the desperation of NiP in the last round of the first half. Exist being really patient though. Finally coming out, Scream will be even more patient. Smith starting to clean up things as well. Minutes on the clock, so still loads of time here for G2 to close out this round.
And there you go, get a couple trays going in there, but just 2 left here for the Swedish side, and that's not a good look indeed. It's going to require quite the performance there from Freiburg towards the event area. As G2 move towards B with 3 players, they've got a really good situation going for themselves. Just the pure numbers, the pure weaponry advantages, and Freiburg in an impossible situation. Now let's see what he can do with it. And of course, he's not really going to have this element of surprise either, because if he tries to go back into the vent room, then he's going to have to pop that vent, and that's immediately going to tell GT where he is. So he realizes this makes it even more more impossible. And, well, there it is, the frag from RPK, the 12-3 first half from G2. Well, I mean, if we're going to see a resurgence from G2, this tournament just got way more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you never know when a team is going to take it over the line in very unlikely circumstances, based on previous statistics, obviously. G2 coming in very prepared indeed. and the road is a difficult one for NiP going forward. They've got 3 rounds on the board. First will come to pistol, and I was going to say, but I was waiting for the NiP T half to start, that the way they take control of the B area with nades is really, really important. It's one of the strongest parts of their strategy on the T side, but we may not get to see that, Dan, if they can't win the pistol.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Now we've got the play coming in towards the door here. 3-man to the door. I know Henry G would be proud. He loves a good bit of door action, although they're actually going to bail on the door and going to back away a little bit. His body actually picks up the first frag onto Get Right, so already NiP's numbers have been thinned out a little bit, and that's part of the plan here for the T's. It's the incontrovertible truth of the pistol round. Strength of numbers with those Glocks getting close the distance.
Forrest has been made somewhat of a raid boss. He's got a P250, but that's going to definitely extend the range of his headshots far better than the Glock. Got his Kevlar as well, so he'll be the important man. NiP trying to improve on their pistols, it seems, looking at that. But these USPs still have far superior range here. The headshots flying in. Man advantage for the CTs at the moment, but they've lost control of highway here. Smith trying to put in work. There's a crossfire here with shots as well, and it's working out for the CTs. Pitts alone at 4 HP. 3 people to find, just too much to ask. 10-round lead here for G2.
Yeah, this could be a really, really quick one if NiP can't find something to respond with. They might not even get an opportunity to play their coveted T side of cash. And that'd be quite the upset. Again, you know, to remind you, G2 at E-League, they kind of, well, they're a bit flat against NiP. NiP played very well, of course, but G2, they lost 69 on cash. They lost 63 on train, if I'm not mistaken. And then they bowed out a little bit. But before that, when G2 had their really big reign of terror for those 2, 3, 4 weeks, they were actually crushing NiP. So it looks like they're, you know, approaching that form again, but it's early days here in this best of 3. Let's see if NiP can mount a recovery. They do have a force buy in this round. They got a lot of pistols, dangerous pistols, Kevlars, helmets, 2 flashes and a smoke grenade. But can they be MacGyver?
They really need to win this, NiP, because G2 with momentum going into Dust 2 as the second map is a pretty scary thought, despite how good NiP are on Dust 2. That's a very scary thought indeed.
Nice.
I know Shox loves himself some Dust 2. That was a nice grenade indeed. So not a good start here for NiP, and they're running out of utility. They've got a flash and a smoke, but not much else at the moment. And again, it's going to be very difficult trying to get openings very desperately, but it's just not working out for NiP here. They've been taken down one by one. They're all playing in isolation versus far superior weaponry here. Seems they have potentially run out of ideas with what they have available. So 2 players left. They've barely done anything in this particular round. Ryback playing headshot ranges, but he's the one who's going to get his bell rung. Can't get the kill. And Exis is alone now, completely blind. A sad state of affairs, that.
Oh yeah, and this kind of start for G2 to give them that kind of confidence, especially, you know, because they are going to be a bit of a confidence team with players like Shox and Scream. That is a very, very scary thing to go up against. Now, NiP, they're in this position where they just have to force buy every round. There is no choice. There's no saving in a situation like this. They realize it. They're going to pick up as much as they can. A bunch of flashes, Kevlar helmets, pistols again. 1 single Molotov as well on Exist. So we should see a quick A set piece, as they don't really have the much to invest in taking middle, and you can see there's Get Right's trying to get a bit of middle control, gets taken down immediately, and we've got Shox there controlling mid. So it looks like NiP are actually going to reroute themselves a little bit, hold on to some of these grenades, and Pitt gets a nice kill there in A main, able to steal away the weapon from Smith. So 2 players down, actually the man advantage coming in here for the Swedish side as they try to take control of this round. A bomb site though it would be very nice, but they're kind of far away from bomb site control just yet. Bit of information gathered there by Shox, flashbang in, sees as only a single man, but that's enough for G2 to stack 2 players towards A.
So, speaking of a stack, NiP has the entire man then pushing towards the A side. Can it be a 2-man spray down? Running out of bullets just in time. Forrest will trade, however, so it's down to Body now. He has got far superior weaponry here. He's got a lot of opportunity to do this, and nothing to lose for the Frenchman. 2 pistols and an MP7, but there's a flank coming in. That is a very key flashbang indeed, and NiP survived for now. But the margin for error is very, very small indeed. See what kind of buy they can muster here. We've got 1 AK coming out at the very least. G2 going for the big gun straight away. Smith, Scream, RPK, straight for the M4s.
So definitely not over the hump yet. I mean, quite far from it, considering the sheer amount of rounds that NiP need to get back. I mean, it wasn't so long ago they did a similar comeback, but it was against Liquid, of course, James. So, we won't count that one. Now we've got the AWP no Kevlar onto Shox. He's going to get flashed into A main there for a quick peek with Smiths. So, and this is the kind of stuff that we should have seen more from NiP. This very active sort of map control take style from the CT side. Just get that information early on. If there is a play, get the 2 versus 1 challenge in, especially if you're up against the default. Usually teams will spread out their team as they try to take all different kinds of spots on the map, and you can get 2 versus 1s. You can isolate players who are on the T side early into the round as the CTs. But we didn't see any of that from NiP. G2, much more active so far, much better picture of what's going on. And so far, you know, it's early days in the round. NiP playing out that default. Now going for the middle take. Forest on the boost spot. Wall of smokes as well to add pressure. And NiP will be able to take middle, but not, well, it's not going to be going so well towards the A side of the map there. Smith's able to take the forward kill onto Pit, and that's a big tell there that the play is going to be likely coming in towards A. So G2 definitely feel ready for this.
Yeah, Shox is holding a very aggressive angle towards A main. NiP in position to split, but again, G2 seem to have a read on the situation, and indeed, Shox's aggressive position paying off there. Get right getting taken down towards the door as well, so things falling apart here for NiP once again. 2 versus 4 now. Both players in isolation at the moment, so G2 can try and play the trade game. Nice headshot there by Freiberg. Needs to find another one though, but players are hiding at the moment. Freiberg's going to get his bell rung through the smoke as well. Needs his teammate to come in, but he's coming in for the flank. Not going to work out. Game point to G2, and they've got 11 of them.
I find that almost comical how Shox is just running through the smoke, spamming a USP. Very nicely done. The 15-4 is in play, and G2, they are just simply outplaying NiP here, both on their T side, both on their CT side. Of course, we've not seen much of the CT side yet, but I feel like the approach to the CT side is generally better. They're putting their wrists in the right places, and they're putting their wrists on the right players, such as Shox. You know, getting him in the right, getting him in aggressive positions, as you noted with the AWP. Very smart stuff. Now we're going to see NiP trying to do what they can with very little to try to save this one, but the flash comes in. Smith spots the entire push. They have Shox there on the bottom side there to hold things down with the AWP. Delay with that Molotov, and this is brilliant work from Shox so far. Another kill. Can he get another one? His entire team is on the way. Another frag from Shox. What else is he going to get? Shox! What a hold coming in. 3 frags to end the match. 16-4. G2 looking fantastic.
Shox playing like that is scary. That is very, very scary indeed. And that's a scary score here. 16-4 for G2. A dominating performance on a map where NiP have been dominating pretty much everyone. So that's a nasty surprise coming into Game 1. Game 2 is going to be Dust 2. We will see you after the break.